before we start, we need to clarify whose birthday it is, right?
Yeah.
As in, if there's anybody in the building's birthday, then let's use that. Or yeah, we could make it fun. You know, it could be. You can imagine it could be Donald Duck, or I don't know, what would be birthday.
I started my company Humanoove about 6 years ago, I think. Human and move, and I wanted to join those two forces together because I'm really interested in how people behave, how people move, and I'm interested in how we maneuver ourselves around each other. I'm inspired by movement. So all these aspects of humanity and movement I wanted to combine into the title of the company. The reason I started the company was really because I've been choreographing. I've been a freelance choreographer for many, many years, since 2000. And I've choreographed all over the world, working with fantastic companies. And often you receive a brief, or I came into a company and I don't necessarily know the dancers, and I was craving working with people that I knew, or craving rehearsals that were continuous, so that I could really see if I could develop my craft, and also delve into subject matters in a slightly different manner than you get the opportunity to with companies. With companies, often there isn't a lot of time, or people come and go into different rehearsals, so the focus is different. And therefore, I actually started the first production with Humanoove, which was the Happiness Project. And I enjoyed that process so much that I continued to work that way. And this is now the third production we're doing with Humanoove, called At Home, which is really exciting for me to be able to get that opportunity. Of course, people often ask me, you know, why do you do it? Because you've had the opportunity, or you can get the opportunity in other companies. And this work, it's true, it's very hard to set up your own company. It's tough work, but it's very rewarding if you get the support from Arts Council and support from specific sponsors and donors that will guide you and help you and support you. And of course also venues like DanceEast. Brandon Keynes has been a fantastic support throughout the whole 5-6 years of Humanoove. I started as a professional dancer when I was 18 years of age. And first of all, that was with Scapino Ballet. They were based in Amsterdam at the time, now they're based in Rotterdam. It was a great opportunity to kind of perform a lot. We did a lot of performances, at least 3 or 4 a week. We traveled throughout Holland. And I also got my first opportunity to choreograph. They had a workshop, and at the last minute I decided to join. And I was very lucky because I won a prize with that choreography, which was a great incentive to keep going. And the second time that I got the opportunity to choreograph for a workshop, the reason I did that again was because I had received so much encouragement. So that was key for me, I suppose, in my career as a choreographer. After Scapino, we did a lot of different works there. We actually did Nutcracker and Coppelia on point, but we did also a lot of new creations by Niels Christe, Ed Wubbe, who is currently the director of the company. We did pieces by Toer van Schaik, Hans van Manen, all Dutch choreographers mainly, but it was really a creative period for me. I then moved to Geneva Ballet, and I stayed there for 4 years, I believe. And that's where I got introduced to Christopher Bruce, who came often to the company to create new works. Jiri Killian came to work with us, Mats Ek came to work with us, Ohad Naharin did several creations with us. So it was a really rich period for me as a dancer. I was only 21, and I got to work with these mega choreographers. It was really, really inspirational time. I continued choreographing also on the side of being a dancer, and that's when I got interested in doing a production on my own, or together with Guillermo Botello at the time. We got some money from the Arts Council in Switzerland and started Alias Company. That was we did our first big production, which again was really, we had the opportunity to be in a studio together with 5 dancers we had at the time, but both of us, Guy and me, both danced in the production as well, because we didn't have enough money to support everybody. But that was really the first time that we both had an opportunity to create work and have dancers during the day and not in the evening after 6 working for a little hour here or there. And yeah, that was phenomenal as an experience. Again, really inspiring. I was 26 and realized that it's fantastic to work on a production, but most of the time during that year, I hardly danced. I only danced when the company performed, but the rest of the time I was busy with teaching classes or finding studio space or funding, and I did my class holding onto the fridge in the kitchen, for instance, to try and stay in shape. So it was a tough time, and Christopher Bruce then came back to Geneva Ballet he wanted to film Rooster for television, and since I'd been part of the original cast, he wanted me back in there. So I came back into the company to rehearse that specific work, and he then talked to me about Rambert Dance Company that he took over the directorship, or he was going to, in '94, and he invited me to come and join because he felt I was way too young to waste my dancing years as a choreographer at that moment in time. And I did. It was actually really lovely to come to London and get that opportunity to work with very interesting people. He just started Rambert, so it was a mixed bag of people from London Contemporary, people from EMB, people from abroad. And he gave me the opportunity to choreograph, which was, again, priceless, because I was able to do both, dance and choreograph, which was for me unique. So every 2 years, I kind of got the opportunity to work with my colleagues, which wasn't always easy, but we tried. And we created 3 works, or I created 3 works with the company, for the company, which was fabulous. I then got an opportunity from Northern Ballet Theatre, because outside of the company I also still did little things. I worked with Ballet Central and did little works for them, and then met Christopher Gable, who discussed choreography with me, and he was really interested in my work and wanted to invite me to come and work with Northern Ballet Theatre. And he felt that my movement language could really tell a story. So I was really interested in that, but it meant that I had to take a leave of absence from Rambe. I couldn't do both. So Christopher Bruce kindly let me go for 3 months, and I created Carmen. Unfortunately, Chris Gable passed away. He was very ill at the time, and he passed away just before we started rehearsal. So he'd been very involved with the set design and everything else, costumes, scenario he wrote. But unfortunately, as soon as rehearsal started, I was on my own. So it was a daunting experience, but again, people were very supportive. Dancers really came together to try and make it work. Also almost in honor of him. So that was a beautiful, beautiful experience working with Northern Ballet Theatre on Carmen in that time. Then when I came back as a dancer to join the company again, it was tough because I'd been out of it. Rambe is a rep company, so new works had already come in. I wasn't part of any of the new works, so kind of had to sit that period out. And started to, get ideas regarding choreography. What am I doing? How am I going to continue? And then I got several fantastic offers. Ballet Gulbenkian offered for me to do a creation with them. Coolberg Ballet asked me to do something for them. And I thought, well, maybe this is the moment that I just have to grab those opportunities, stop dancing for now and grab those opportunities. I did. But I also really wanted kids. So I got pregnant instantly and kept on choreographing as a freelancer, as a mum, trying to juggle and balance life that way and travel the world. Whenever I start a work, generally it's about humanity, it's about human contact, or it's what happens around in the world, an element that touches me, that resonates, that I want to talk about. And works generally for me, for me it's the most interesting to delve into, like the happiness project, to delve into what does that mean, happiness. For me it was really a journey, a questioning how do I feel, why am I not constantly happy? So the journey also is part of a discovery, a journey of discovery for myself and the group that I'm working with. Music is not often a source of inspiration, sometimes, but most of the time the starting point is something I want to delve into, a subject matter that I want to research, and then I want to express it through movement with other people, and then music becomes part of it, of course. Either looking for pieces of music or finding a composer that is interested in collaborating. Yeah, so most of the time the inspiration, is generally it's people or it's something that resonates in my life at that moment. I've always loved working with students, whether it's teaching or choreographing. It's just staying in contact almost with that younger generation, seeing what inspires them, how they work. Their attention span and creativity. A great project that I was invited for with the Prix de Lausanne. 13 partner schools, 26 students, and I met them. We worked together for 7 days and had to create a piece at the end of the 7 days. So it was challenging, but everybody's nose was pointed in the same direction. So it was lovely to get that kind of focus and concentration. Plus, of course, they were all on the best behavior. And then it's really interesting to see how can you challenge them? What can you get out of each individual? For me, that is really one of the reasons I love working with schools and students, is to kind of see if you can pull things out of them. Can you nourish them? Can you inspire them to maybe think differently, to maybe be inspired by contemporary dance, different movements, and find a richness in how they approach dance as a performer in the future. So can you leave a little imprint on somebody and help them in their careers to take that next step? So that's what I really enjoy. Also with the Royal Ballet School, and that's the same with all the other schools I've worked with, EMB School, I've recently created works for Palucha Hochschule in Dresden, the Rosella Hightower School, the junior company in Cannes I worked with last year. And yeah, I just really enjoy that youthfulness and the eagerness and the hunger for more.
Hello, my name's Theo. I grew up in England and my home is in North London.
Hi, my name is Nicholas and I am from New Zealand, but I'm currently living in London.
Hi, my name is Hannah. I'm from Sweden and my home is in London.
Hi, I'm Oliver. I'm originally from Norfolk and now I'm based in London.
Hi, my name is Melody. I grew up in the countryside in Kent, but now my home is on a boat in London.
So At Home started a long time ago, actually. It started before COVID, that I was really interested in the sense of belonging or the sense of not belonging. Where is home? Myself coming, living or being Dutch and living in England, or having lived in Switzerland, in England, and actually questioning, where is my home? Yes, I have my family here, but where are my roots? Do they really, do I really feel that I belong in the UK? I'm not sure. And that kind of felt like a lot of different people that I had this conversation with in the dance world, of course, especially because we all travel so much and we all work in all these different places. I kind of felt that, that people at a certain point need a sense that they belong somewhere. And I felt that need myself of rooting and belonging somewhere. And I tried to pull that in different directions or look slightly further afield than just here. I mean, it's how do you belong? Why do we need to belong? Why do we feel that sense of being lost? Does it have anything to do with not living anymore in the country that you were born in with your family, kind of have a community? Is it related to globalization, where we open our borders and we can work and travel? We can eat any types of food. Never used to be, when I was a kid, we didn't yet have that many opportunities, but now the world is open. And what kind of effects does that have on us as human beings? Do we float around a little? And do we like that floating around? Or are we looking for a place that we call home? And that's where the At Home project kind of started from. And funnily enough, I had a conversation with a guy on the plane who told me that his home was actually the airplane. Because he said, I spent so much time traveling that most of the time when I do all my work on my computer, where I sleep, where I actually eat, it's airplanes. And I thought that was kind of shocking. And in a way sad. He didn't seem to have an issue with it, but it kind of felt like, okay, wow, what are we doing with our world and how are we behaving? And how does that have an effect on who we are as people? So the project started already in April, when I had research and development, April 2019, I should say. I had a research and development at DanceEast for 2 weeks with 2 dancers, really small, with SABIO JANIAK, who is the composer of the work. He's a multi-instrumentalist who I've worked with as a teacher, actually. He used to accompany classes. And he plays lots of different instruments, and that's how I got introduced to his work. So we decided that that was an interesting subject together to work on. So we had this little R&D at DanceEast to just explore some ideas and see if it was interesting to take it further. And it resonated and we wanted to develop it further. And then Jacob's Pillow very kindly offered for us to come to America and do a residency there of 2 weeks, which was in November of 2019. And I used a dancer from Sweden, a dancer from Holland, 2 apprentices from the Jacob's Pillow School, and 2 people, Oliver actually, one of the dancers currently also came along. So I had 6 dancers in total. And it was, again, I didn't have my composer with me at the time, but it was interesting to develop it and to have that kind of focused time at Jacob's Pillow. You're kind of locked up in a way. And the plan was then to have a premiere the next year, early next year. But of course, COVID started. And then everything kind of fell apart because the tour fell apart, the funding fell apart, and the dancers fell apart. And of course, Brexit started. So my dancer from Holland couldn't come back to England to work with us. The dancer from Sweden went back home to Sweden. So the whole thing kind of crumbled. And I didn't know if we would ever get the opportunity to continue the work or to start it again. And then during lockdown, I thought, well, come on, let's put some effort into it. Let's reapply to the Arts Council at a certain point when things opened up a little bit again, and let's go for it. So, yeah, the whole production has had some sort of development that has taken quite a while. And unfortunately, also a lot of different dancers have been involved. And because when we applied to the Arts Council and we had our tour in place and our rehearsal schedule already in place, of course, once we got the okay from the Arts Council and I contacted the dancers that I really wanted to work with, they kind of, due to COVID, said, well, Didi, now I can't anymore, or I had counted on a certain group of people, and unfortunately, again, due to COVID, we double book ourselves, because as freelancers, we do, because you just don't know which production will take off and which one doesn't. So I found myself 3 weeks before starting this rehearsal process with only 2 of the 5 dancers that I had planned to work with, and had to find very quickly 3 dancers that I thought could fit into this project. So it was quite a big rush before we started these rehearsals again in August, and but also really exciting, so that kind of mixture of tension and excitement and wanting to develop this new work together. And so far, we've had 2 weeks of rehearsals. This is our 3rd week. And it's just so nice to be back in a studio working on new work, on something creative. Also very scary because, it all feels like we're a little out of shape in a way. We haven't done anything like this for a little while, so we're a little rusty. But gradually we're getting to that point again where we're getting excited about creating work, about sharing it, about delving into something, about really getting to the core of what it is that we want to talk about with at home. So I hope it resonates with people, not just belonging or not belonging, but as you can see this outline, we're talking about borders, we're talking about rooms, we're talking about confinement, and at the same time we're trying to discuss where are we at home and what does home feel like? Is it a safe place or is it not a safe place? Can you be yourself at home or maybe not? Or do you feel at home where you are now or don't you? And most of the time, interestingly enough, there is that kind of tension of not necessarily belonging or not necessarily fitting in. So there's a lot of discoveries about of discomfort, actually, not often feeling relaxed enough to feel at home.